أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين بالقاسم محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته to this virtual program of Tawassul on this Tuesday night. Inshallah, we'll start with the dua Tawassul. For that, I'd like to invite Ali Hassan.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أسألك وأتوجه إليك بنبيك نبي الرحمة محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. يا أبا القاسم يا رسول الله، يا إمام الرحمة، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا الحسن يا أمير المؤمنين، يا علي بن أبي طالب، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا فاطمة الزهراء يا بنت محمد، يا قرة عين الرسول، يا سيدتنا ومولاتنا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيهة عند الله، اشفعي لنا عند الله. يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي، أيها المجتبى يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا عبد الله يا حسين بن علي، أيها الشهيد يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا الحسن يا علي يا ابن الحسين، يا زين العابدين يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا، يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله، يا أبا جعفر، يا محمد بن علي، أيها الباكر يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا، يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله، يا أبا عبد الله، يا جعفر بن محمد، أيها الصادق يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا، يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله، يا أبا إبراهيم، يا موسى بن جعفر، أيها القاذب يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا، يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله، يا أبا الحسن، يا علي بن موسى، أيها الرضا يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا، يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله، يا أبا جعفر، يا محمد بن علي، أيها التكي الجواد يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا، يا وجيها عند الله، اشفع لنا عند الله، يا أبا الحسن، يا علي بن محمد، أيها الحاد النكي يا ابن رسول الله، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا، يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي أيها الزكي العسكري يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. يا وسي الحسن والخلف الهجة أيها القائم المنتظر المهدي يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله. Ask for your hajat. يا سادتي وموالي إني توجهت بكم أئمتي وأدتي ليوم فقري وهاجتي إلى الله وتوسلت بكم إلى الله واستشفعت بكم إلى الله فاشفعوا لي إن الله واستنقذوني من ذنوبي إن الله فإنكم وسيلتي إلى الله وبحبكم وبقربكم أرجو نجاة من الله فكونوا عند الله رجائي يا سادتي يا أولياء الله صلى الله عليهم أجمعين ولعن الله أعداء الله ظالميهم من الأولين والآخرين آمين رب العالمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سورة المباركة الفاتحة.
Ahsantum, jazakumullah. Thank you very much for that recitation. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our hajat with the tawassul of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salatu wassalam. We pray for the safety and security of everyone, especially in this inclement weather. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all. Very briefly, as you know, on Tuesday night programs, we have a brief tafsir. Inshallah, that will not be too long. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين بالقاسم محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب سيصلى نارا ذات لهب وامرأته حمالة الحطب في جيدها حبل من مسد. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. For tonight's tafsir, I recited this surah, Surah Lahab, chapter number 111 in Quran. One of the shorter chapters, an interesting chapter in a sense that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the name of the enemy of Islam and Rasulullah in this surah. The surah begins by causing or referring to a curse or la'an on Abu Lahab. It says, may the hands of Abu Lahab be ruined, and ruined is he. His wealth will not avail him for that which he gained. He will enter to burn in a fire of blazing flame, and his wife as well, the carrier of firewood. Around her neck is a rope of twisted fiber. There are many names that are mentioned for this surah. One of the names that is discussed is, of course, Surah Masad or Surah Lahab. These two are the two names that are used interchangeably. Other names are also mentioned, such as Surah Tabbat Yada Abi Lahab, or Surah Abu Lahab, or Surah Tabbat. The reason why it's called Masad is because Masad is a rope woven from palm leaves. Tabbat, the surah talks about the loss, khusran, and ruins. Lahab, the context of revelation clearly states that it was revealed addressing Abu Lahab and his wife, and therefore the name Lahab comes about. And Abu Lahab is described as a flaming fire. Inshallah, toward the end, if I have time, I will mention the etymology of why he was called Lahab or Abu Lahab. Not that he had kids named Lahab. Usually this is the kunyat that is given in the Arab world, where people are called by the name of their oldest child. So Abu Lahab did not have a child by the name Lahab, so was he called Abu Lahab. An overview of this surah is the warning to the enemies of Islam, in particular enemies of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the instructive story of Abu Lahab and his wife Jamil. So the topics and the contents. Surah Masad was revealed in the beginning of the open propagation of Rasulullah. So Rasulullah, when he announced his risalat, there was a period where he kept it silent, meaning he was doing propagation, but secretly. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to him, now it's time to openly start propagation. It is the only surah in Quran which explicitly, as I've said, mentions the name of the enemy of Islam and threatens him as well. Its content show that he had a special enmity toward Rasulullah, and he and his wife were not bothered by any kind of rudeness or using bad language. Quran clearly says both of them belong in the hellfire, and there's no salvation for them, regardless of how much one prays for them or they did anything. No, they didn't do anything to straighten their amal, and so they're bound to hellfire. This has become a reality, of course, and both died in the life of Rasulullah and left as unbelievers. Time and place of revelation. The surah was revealed in Makkah between the first revelation, Iqra, Bismi Rabbika alladhi khalaq, and the migration of Muslims toward Abyssinia. And it was revealed after Surah Muddathir. So it was one of the initial surahs to be revealed. Surah Masad has 5 verses. There are 20 words in it and 72 letters. It is the 6th surah to be revealed, as I mentioned before, after Surah Muddathir. And so that's the chronological order of the revelation of Quran, where you have first surah, Surah Alaq, Surah Qalam, and Surah Muddathir it gets to, Surah Muzammil, Surah Muddathir, and then the 6th is Surah Lahab. But it is placed at number 111 in the current order of the surahs in Quran. The atmosphere in which the surah was revealed, after Allah's order to the Prophet regarding the open invitation of his close relatives, there was this da'wat called Da'wat-e Dhul Ashira, wa andir ashiratakal aqrabin. He gathered all his relatives and offered Islam to them. Although this invitation did not receive the favor and the attention of his relatives. Many of them dispersed. But among them was Abu Lahab, who reproached the Prophet, insulted him. That was first occasion where he insulted Rasulullah. Then again, when Rasulullah invited from Mount Safa, he insulted, and he said, Alihada ajma'atana, it is what you have gathered us over here. And with complete shamelessness, in his answer, he said, Tabban laka, to Rasulullah, loss and destruction be upon you. From that time onwards, Abu Lahab and his wife did not miss any opportunity to harass Rasulullah. There are features and virtues and reward of reciting this surah. Ubay ibn Ka'ab narrates from Rasulullah, who said, whoever recites this surah, Surah Masad, God will not put him and Abu Lahab in the same house. Sixth Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq ﷺ said, whenever you recite this surah, send la'an on Abu Lahab, as he was the first to deny Rasulullah and the Quran revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here I'll explain or give brief explanation of each ayat. First ayat, of course, after Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is Tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab. Destroyed were the hands of Abu Lahab, and he lay utterly doomed. His real name was Abdul Uzza. Uzza was the name of one of the idols of mushrikeen of the time used to worship. And he was called Abu Lahab on account of his glowing and ruddy complexion. Lahab means the flame of fire. Abu Lahab, the one with the flaming, fiery face. His being mentioned here by his nickname, Kunniyat, instead of his real name, there are several reasons Mufassirin have mentioned. Number one, that he was better known by his nickname than by his real name. So there are many people that we know in our lifetime as well, that we know them by their nicknames more than we know them with their real names. In fact, sometimes when someone tells you this is their real name, it's like, really? I had no idea. We thought their nickname was their real name. Same case was with Abu Lahab. He was more known for his nickname than his real name. Second, that the Quran did not approve that he should be mentioned by his polytheistic name, Abdul Uzza. Abdul Uzza means what? Slave of Uzza. Uzza being one of the idols. Number three, that his kunyat goes well with the fate that he had been described or has been described of him in this surah. Tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab. Some commentators have translated Tabbat yada abi lahab to mean, may the hands of Abu Lahab be broken. And tabba to mean, may he perish, or he perished. But this, in fact, was not a curse which was invoked on him, but rather it was a prophecy in which an event taking place in future. You know, it's using the fi'l mazi, past tense, but in Arabic, past tense, you know, describes the future to suggest that its occurrence in the future is certain and inevitable. They use past tense. I'll give you an example. When you hear nikah, usually the scholars recite, or usually no, they always recite the sigha of nikah in past tense. Ankahtu. They don't say ankihu. They say ankahtu. You know, I recited, you know, nikah for my wakil or my muwakkil or my representative. So the past tense suggests that its occurrence in the future is certain and inevitable. But there are examples of this, and I'll skip because brevity of time. In fact, at last, the same thing happened as he had been foretold in this surah a few years earlier. You know, eventually it led to his fate, and he died the way it is described in Quran. Breaking of hands obviously does not imply breaking of the physical hands. That didn't happen. His physical hands were not broken. But a person's utterly failing in his aim and object for which he has exerted his utmost. He dedicated an entire lifetime to, you know, hurt Rasulullah, to stop the message, And Abu Lahab indeed had exerted his utmost to defeat and frustrate the message of Islam presented by Rasulullah. But hardly 7 or 8 years after the revelation of this surah, most of the big chiefs of Quraysh who were with Abu Lahab in his hostility toward Islam were killed in the Battle of Badr. He wasn't there. When the news of the defeat reached Makkah, he was so shocked he could not survive for more than 7 days. His death occurred in a pitiable state. He became afflicted with malignant pustule, and people left him basically. He was stranded even by his own family. Nobody wanted to stay with him. And they were fearing that this illness that he had might be contagious and might afflict us as well. No one came near his body for 3 days after his death, until the body started to decompose and began to really rotten, and the environment around it started to smell. So according to a tradition, they dug a pit and they threw his body into it by pushing it with the woods without even touching it, and covered it with stones and whatever they could find to cover it up. So that's the end of Abu Lahab. The next ayah says, Ma aghna anhu maluhu wa ma kasab. His wealth did not avail him, nor his acquisitions. Many of them used to take pride in the wealth that they had. When it was mentioned to some of them, you'll be thrown into Jahannam. I guess it was mentioned to him as well. He said, I'll purchase the Jahannam. I'll buy it. Then I won't even have to go into it. So Abu Lahab was a very stingy, materialistic man. About his riches, it is mentioned that he was one of the 4 richest men of Quraysh. He owned 1 qintar, 260 ounces of gold each. His love of wealth can be judged from the fact that when on the occasion of Battle of Badr, the fate of his religion was going to be decided forever, and all the Quraysh chiefs had personally gone to fight. All of them, they took it, sort of like a personal thing, and they said, we want to attend this. He didn't go. He sent As ibn Hisham to fight on his behalf, telling him, this is in lieu of the debt of 4,000 dirhams that you owe me. Thus he contrived a plan to realize his debt. And for Az had become bankrupt, and there was no hope of the recovery of the debt for him. So he took part in the battle on his behalf. Some commentators have also taken ma kasaba in the meaning of earning, that the benefits that accrued to him from his wealth were his kasab, his earning. Some mention that it implies on children, that ma kasab refers to his kids. But the Prophet has said that man's son also is his kasb, his earning. Both these meanings fully correspond to the fate met by Abu Lahab. For when he was afflicted with the illness that he was afflicted with, his wealth availed him nothing. Nothing they could do to, bring cure for him. And his children also left him alone to die in a miserable, wretched death. They did not even bury him honorably. Thus, within a few years, the people witnessed how the prophecy which was made in this surah, Tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab, literally was fulfilled. Third ayah says, Sayasla naran dhata lahab wa mara'atuhu hammalat al-hatab. And in the 4th, surely he will be cast into flaming fire, along with his wife, the carrier of slanderous tales. So what happened in this life was up until then. Now, what will happen to him in the hereafter? So here is discussion about his wife. Her name was Arwa. Her nickname and kunyat was Jamil. She was sister of Abu Sufyan and was no less bitter than her husband Abu Lahab in her enmity toward Rasulullah. In fact, Asma bint Abi Bakr said that when the surah was revealed and Jamil heard it, she was filled with rage and went out in search of Rasulullah. She carried a handful of stones, and she was carrying some verses of her own, satirizing Rasulullah. She came to Kaaba, where the Prophet was sitting, and then said, So Rasulullah was sitting with first caliph. The latter said, "O Messenger of Allah, there she comes, and I fear lest she should utter something derogatory towards you." Prophet replied, "She will not see me." Same thing happened. She could not see Rasulullah, although he was sitting there. The words in the original are Hammalat al-Hatab, which literally means carrier of wood. Hammalat al-Hatab, firewood. She used to strew thorns at Prophet's door in night. Therefore, she has been described as carrier of the wood. Some other commentators say she used to carry evil tales and slander from one person to another in order to create hatred between them. Therefore, she has been called the barrier of food idiomatically. So we got to be careful if some of us develop this habit as well, where we take the information from here, from one person, especially if it's something which they want to keep a secret. You find out about someone's secrets, you don't go out telling others. I just heard about someone's secrets. I go online on YouTube and I start telling people about it. No. Or secretly calling people and telling them, "Oh, did you hear about so and so? Did you hear what they're going through this? They're going through that. They're having this issue. They're having that issue." Don't spread it. Allah does not want you to be spreading this. So she was called Hammalat al-Hatab. She used to carry, evil tales and as well as slander people, taking from one person to another. Create what? Hatred. When you tell someone about someone else in private, something that they may not like, what it'll create? It'll create a barrier between them. And of course, what is the purpose behind it? What are you trying to achieve with it? Another meaning which the commentators have also given is that she will do this in the hereafter. She will bring and supply wood to the fire in which Abu Lahab would be burning. Last ayat, fi jidiha hablum min masad. Upon her neck shall be a rope of fiber. The word used for her neck is jid, which in Arabic means a neck decorated with an ornament. So like a necklace. So she would wear this, she wore a valuable necklace and used to say, "By Lat and by Uzza, I will sell this necklace away and spend the price to satisfy my enmity toward Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam." That is why the word jid has been used here, ironically, thereby implying that the hell she would have a rope of palm fiber round her neck instead of that necklace upon which she prides herself so arrogantly. Different meaning of this have been given by the linguistics and the commentators. According to some, Masad means a tightly twisted rope. Others say that Masad is a rope made of palm fiber. Still, some others say it means rope made from rush, or camel skin, or camel hair. And some view that implies a cable made of twisted iron strands together. Nonetheless, these are all different variations that we have found in books of Tafsir. This concludes a brief summary of chapter number 111 from Quran, Surah Al-Lahab. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give us the tawfiq to recite this surah and be the recipients of that which Rasulullah had said regarding the recitation of the surah. The one who recites will not be in the same house as Abu Lahab. Of course, in the hereafter, that is. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the reappearance of our awaited Imam and make us amongst the helpers and the soldiers of Imam. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Let's recite Dua Sehat for all of those people who are in need 5 times. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ 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 وَيَجْعَلُكُمْ خُلَفَاءَ الْأَرْضِ أإله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. Let's recite Ziyarah. अस्सलामु अलैका या रसूल अल्लाह, अस्सलामु अलैका या नबी अल्लाह, अस्सलामु अलैका या अली इब्न अबी तालिब अमीरुल मुमिनीन, अस्सलामु अला फातिमा सय्यदत निसाइल आलमीन, अस्सलामु अला अल हसन वल हुसैन सय्यद शबाब अहलिल जन्नत अजमईन, अस्सलामु अला अली इब्न अल हुसैन ज़ैनुल आबिदीन, अस्सलामु अला मुहम्मद इब्न अली बाक़िर इल्मिन नबिय्यीन, अस्सलामु अला जाफ़र इब्न मुहम्मद as-सादिक, अस्सलामु अला मूसा इब्न जाफर अल-काज़िम, अस्सलामु अला अली इब्न मूसा ar-रज़ा, अस्सलामु अला मुहम्मद इब्न अली अल-जवाद, अस्सलामु अला अली इब्न मुहम्मद अल-हादी, अस्सलामु अला अल-हसन इब्न अली अल-ज़की अल-अस्करी, अस्सलामु अला अल-हुज्जत इब्न अल-हसन अल-क़ाइम अल-महदी, सलवातुल्लाहि अलैहिम अजमईन. Let's recite Surah Fatiha and one time Qul Huwallah for all of our marhumin. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.